the state of our human survival, whether or not human beings go extinct within the next few decades, relies entirely on one thing, and you play an important role in contributing to whether or not we fall to our destruction or rise to higher states of consciousness. Don't feel like you are insignificant. Don't feel like it's out of your control, because each one of us casts our vote to death or to life. And so what is that one thing that will determine whether or not we will survive the next 100 years? It's whether or not we choose to rise above our lower nature, our lower reptilian instincts. Because you see, the reptilian mind that we all have within us, its sole purpose is to survive, and it does this by stealing life force from others. And it does not have a sense of morality. Our lower minds are selfish. They only want to serve ourselves, to satisfy our own needs. And often this comes at the expense of other people. And this creates a lot of suffering in our lives. Because we have advanced brains and developed minds, we experience in life a strong sense of separation from one another. You are separate from me, and the walls are separate from everything else, and everything is separate. But we know that this is just an illusion, that there is no separation. Even just practically, we understand that everything that exists in the universe is just recycled star material. And so the more we live in illusion, the more we align ourselves with death and suffering, because it is not the highest truth. The highest truth is eternal, and the highest truth is aligned with life. And so what have we been doing? We've been destroying the planet for our own gain. We've been making each other sick for profit. We've been killing each other for no reason, for power. Many of us live in a state of fear where we're just we're like a tiny animal in a hostile environment, and everything around us is scary and it's against us. But I'm here to tell you that that is just your perception, and that it is false. And that any moment you can choose to change the paradigm of reality in which you are experiencing. Because the more you are afraid, the more you are in this survival mode, the more you are going to look at other people and say, are you an enemy? Maybe I can steal what you have so I can enjoy the benefits for myself. Maybe I can use you to get what I want. But this path only leads to destruction and to death, because we are acting as black holes, consuming and taking and giving nothing in return. And so if humanity wants to survive, we have to tip the scales in the other direction. We have to cultivate more love and compassion, to realize that there are no separate beings, that we are all connected, and that we are all one. But so long as we perceive ourselves to be separate from one another, so long as we are attached to our egos and lower selves, well then our hearts will always be closed off in a way. And you see, most people are living this way. I love the people that I'm around, but those people over there, those are our enemies. We don't like those people. We don't associate with these people. But my friends and my people, we are one, we are together. And that is just a leftover kind of tribal instinct from our early human days. It's not that you have to go out of your way to love and accept and embrace everybody. But you just have to see clearly. You just have to see life for what it is. What most people see is just themselves projected onto the world around them. That's why they say we do not see life as it is, we see life as we are. And so we have to address this problem within ourselves, and in doing so we will cast a vote on whether or not we want humanity to survive. Because the more we are selfish, the more we choose to benefit ourselves at the expense of others, the more suffering we will create, the more entropy will be in the environment, and we will waste the life energy that we have, and we will steal the life energy of others. And like most things, we can look at this as a habit. We just have that habitual tendency to serve our lower instincts more than they deserve. Because from the beginning of time, that is the way our biology was wired, for us to survive this long. And so that's why the times today seem so different, or seem a bit crazy. It's because we are in the process of overcoming our lower nature, where many of the humans have begun rising to higher states of consciousness, and at the same time there are many humans who are bringing the collective consciousness down. And so every individual will play their role. How will the scales tip in favor of death or in favor of life? In favor of truth or in favor of illusion? And we know if we are aligned with illusion or with that which is true, based on whether something is changing and temporary or eternal and unchanging. And so the different elements of our lives require a certain amount of energy. For instance, we should dedicate a certain amount of energy to finding food, to finding a partner, to these instinctual drives. But because many of us have trauma or certain kind of conditionings in our psyche, it causes us to give these instinctual drives more energy than we should. And so these kind of lower instincts become our master, and we become their slave. We become a slave to food by overeating. We become a slave to sex by valuing it above all else. And the more we feed these lower instincts our life energy, the more we throw away our life energy, and the more death will take its place. Because where life is, death is not. But where there is no life, there is death. And so we have to be very careful about what we are giving our energy to. And we can begin reorienting our energy by what we focus our attention on. And what we focus our attention on, that is what we are interested in. And what we are interested in is a reflection of our identity. And so it all comes to being able to change who we are and who we want to be. And by doing so, our mind begins to focus on new and different things that reflect this identity. If you are giving your power away to these lower instinctual drives, it's not that that's a problem in and of itself. The problem is that you do not desire to change, that you believe that there is nothing wrong. And a lot of people have Stockholm Syndrome for their addictions and their vices, and they make excuses and they convince themselves that it's not a problem. But eventually the consequences will catch up, But as long as you make the choice to want to change, so long as you have the desire to become free from the slavery of the lower instincts, well, then your success is already assured. It's just going to take some time probably to habituate into a new identity. And so don't allow your energy to be stolen by that which is not serving you. Do not focus your attention on things that do nothing but steal your energy, that give nothing in return. Don't focus so much on what is temporary. Find out what is most true within yourself. The more temporary something is, the less attention and energy it deserves. And the more eternal something is, the more energy it deserves. And by doing this, we align ourselves on all levels. But we become rooted in what is most true. And through this alignment, we create harmony in our lives. Whereas most people are always suffering and can never catch a break. Well, why is that? There are many reasons, but it comes down to wasting the life energy. I mean, think about it. A lot of people go to work. They give their time, which is a resource that increases in value every moment because it becomes less and less, for money that has decreased in value since its conception. And then what do they spend this money on? They spend it on surviving. And then what is not used for survival is spent on temporary pleasures that bring no lasting satisfaction. So have compassion for these people, but recognize that what they are doing, the life that they are living, is a consequence of their actions. Their punishment is just because of the crime or the sin they are committing. And you see many people will blame it on the government or the capitalists or the pharmaceutical companies or the left or the right or the Satanists or the reptilians or the elites. And this is all just an excuse not to face oneself, to have to face one's own actions. Because they get to live their lives pretending that it's somebody else's fault, that somebody else is the reason why their life isn't the way they want it to be. They live their whole lives not realizing that they had the power within them the whole time to create any life that they desired, regardless of their external circumstances. But because they chose to remain a victim, they chose to have a victim identity, they remained as a slave, and rightly so. That is why many of the elites treat the poor people as animals, is because they have not claimed their power, they have not claimed their authority. And if you do not know your rights, you have no rights. Because this divine power within you is the most valuable resource in existence. And so what are you doing with it? Where are you directing it? There are people out there who can spend that energy better than you can. So why wouldn't they just take it from you? Why wouldn't they use you to serve themselves? Because you're just wasting it anyway. Even though this energy is abundant, it is still of the highest value. Don't allow your energy to go to waste. Stop giving it to the lower instincts and start focusing your attention on what is good. Focus your attention on what is true. Cultivate love and compassion within your heart. Focus your attention on God. And God can be found in this eternal present moment. And this moment can never be separated from you. It is eternal. Focus your attention here. Close your eyes and discover the presence that radiates from your very being. Focus your attention on this, and your life will begin rising into harmony. And the path to overcoming your problems and difficulties and all the things you face will be revealed for you, and you do not have to figure it out. Because you are not relying on yourself. You are not relying on what is temporary and changing. You will have not built your house on a shaky foundation. You will have absolute trust and faith that God has already worked everything out. Because God is that eternal force within you, that unchanging foundation that will allow you to weather any storm, to overcome any problem. Keep your focus on what you know is most important, and ignore all the distractions, because that is what this world was designed to do. It was designed to distract you from what is most important. Don't allow yourself to fall into that trap. Focus on the Most High, and life will take care of itself.